for having me. And I greet all the people of Kampala and those around Uganda and abroad listening.
Farida is going to be coming for the woman MP seat, battling it out with the rest, but on the ticket of NRM. We're going to discuss that in just a bit, and her competitors who should be battling it out in the NRM primaries. And then I have a lady here cloned in red from NUP, or see she's wearing a People Power cape. Good to have you on the show, Shamim Malende.
Yes, thank you, Kanri. Good morning, viewers and listeners. I'm Shamim Malende, aspiring woman member of Parliament for the position for Kampala District 2021, and I'll be running on the NOP ticket, stroke People Power Movement ticket, and our symbol is the umbrella. I'm pleased to be part of this show and also to be able to meet up with such amazing women, and I look forward to the deliberations. Maybe to add one thing, I wish to inform our viewers that I'm one of Bobi Wine's lawyers and also one of the lawyers for People Power, and I'm handling People Power cases, over 300 files on pro bono, but I also offer free legal representation to oppressed Ugandans from across board, and recently we were able to have the Bizonto Group comedy out of jail.
Yeah, you recently secured their...
Yes, their release on police bond. Gerard Kiwewa, we had some city border riders that were in Kitaria prison, and we also secured their release. Basically, I help victims of political persecution and other oppressed Ugandans for free.
Okay, we'll discuss that in just a bit. But first, let me begin there. There's a lot of confusion in your introduction. You said NUP stroke People Power. What in the world is that?
Basically, what the people of Uganda have to know is that the People Power movement does not need an introduction. Everyone knows it's a movement that is inclusive, that brings aboard all Ugandans who are interested in seeking change, who are interested in regime change, using non-violent means. And this, because it's inclusive in nature, we ally with all other political parties. We bring independents on board, and we bring even technical people for advice on board. So we are inclusive and we are for everyone. However, the NOP, or the National Unity Platform, is a registered version of the People Power movement. What I mean is that it is a legal vehicle to implement the People Power decisions. And basically it is going to assist us to clear the air, or to remove the confusion about our symbol on the ballot. How will Ugandans know that this person is the one that is on the People Power movement, that agrees with the People Power movement ideology?
So what you did was to go on with your movement of People Power, but just for symbolism, you just said let's secure a political party. So the party does not have a constitution, or what?
No,
because the way you're presenting it, it's as if all you needed was just a political party to have your symbol on the ballot papers.
No, everything is there, the constitution and everything that is supposed to govern us. But what we are saying, under the Kyagulanyi generation, we are focusing more on we are doing things in the unusual way. We don't want you to use a lot of English.
The Kyagulanyi generation?
Yes. Yes. The generation that is going to take over power in 2021. That is the Kyagulanyi generation. We are changing systems. We are changing the way things are being done. Because we have seen our comrades have been here and they have really tried their best. So, and we are saying, why is it that they have not achieved the results? So we are saying we are changing the system. So we don't want to use a lot of English in this thing. We are saying that the NUP, or the National Unity Platform, is a legal vehicle to help us implement People Power decisions legally, a legal vehicle. So we don't want to use a lot, and we don't want to go into, we are choosing to be a bit covert, because we have learned this regime and the way it operates.
Okay, let's get into your plan.
I'd like to interject, because I'm also a member of People Power. I want to strongly say to Shamim, as a person who practices the law, and she has postured here, presented her credentials as one of the lawyers for Bobi Wine. As a member of People Power, who has been loyal to the People Power cause, I think that you owe Ugandans an explanation as People Power especially for those of us from other parties, because I hear a discourse that is very dishonest from people power members who are not educated about the meaning of having a political party called NUP, National Unity Platform, and having people power historically, in the short history of people power, whether we speak in English, big English words or not, there is a history in which we were invited as Ugandans, interested in the liberation struggle, and we were told emphatically, you don't have to leave your political parties, right? You can come as you are. Come with your party, come without your party, come as an independent, come if you believe in the cause for regime change. And we joined People Power. Some of us were very active in People Power before the Shamims came on board, before the Chagulanyi generation, that whatever that means. I don't know if, because I'm older than Chagulanyi, I don't know if I'm in the Chagulanyi generation or not. But I want just to say, for those of us in People Power, because I insist on remaining, that is why Canary, I carried my forms.
There have been
nomination forms.
They have been
People Power. But I want to say what the confusion
Stella,
is.
they have been clear that now you have to choose. You're either in NUP or not.
No.
So what
we need to clarify to Ugandans that NUP is a political party. People Power is a movement that is not registered.
Let me clarify.
And so for people such as myself, I'm in FDC. I'm also in People Power. I have a beret. I raise my fist.
When you say you're in People Power, what does that mean? It
I
does
am
not
a
even
member
have a
of
registration.
People Power, which means that when a People Power member is arrested, okay, I can wear my beret and go to the cause and march. When Dan City carries the People Power flag, because he's a People Power flag raiser, I can come behind him with my FDC and my beret, my FDC blue dress and my beret. That is what we've been historically. Unless they're saying to us that there's been a U-turn in the history of People Power, and that people such as myself, who insist on staying in my party, FDC, can no longer be members of People Power. You cannot say to me, Stella, because you're FDC, and then People Power got, nope, you can no longer be a member of People Power. Conceptually, there's real difference between People Power as a vehicle, as a movement, as a pressure group that invited all of us to its table, and we came.
Okay, Shamim, I'm going to give you your time.
Let me, a political party.
So let me put this to you.
Yes,
you picked the nomination forms of FDC.
Yes, and I took them back.
And you took them back. And now you're saying that you're a member of People Power.
Sweetheart Canary, I took papers to both FDC and to People Power.
But now things have changed because if you belong...
Things have not changed.
I wish you listen to my question,
at the barrio,
I wish you listen to my
Charles
question.
Mutiawuli,
I wish you listen to my question.
I went to the barrio as a member of People Power. I was I was introduced as a member of People Power. I participated in the raising of the fist because the raising of the fist is historically a protest symbol. Nobody owns that symbol, right? So my insistence on those of us in FDC, in NRM, in Stella Nyanzi's NRM, okay? There are many people in DP who belong to People Power. People Power is about affiliation and association and believing in its ideals.
Okay.
So the idea that one can no longer be a member of People Power must be abused and disabused. It's an illusion which you, as well as, being moderator, you have to clear your mind and quickly educate yourself that movements are totally different conceptually from parties. The party is called NUP or NAP or NAPI. As an FDC member, sijja kwambala NAPI, I will not put on the NAPI, but I'm totally devoted to the causes of People Power.
Okay, so let me ask this, and I'll come to you, Shamim, then I'll later hear from Farida Nambi. You saying that you still belong to People Power? Yes or no? Stella?
I am a member. I am a die-hard believer of the ideals of People Power.
Okay.
I was invited to People Power.
Okay. So
I have participated to People Power.
Okay. So
I have participated in building People Power.
Okay, so Stella,
I
People
am
Power,
not a member of NUP.
Okay.
I will never join NUP because I have FDC, which serves my purposes as a political party.
Okay,
I
so
don't
People
know what
Power
NUP represents.
People Power has a leader, and so does FDC.
Yes.
Where does your allegiance lie?
So I have a grandfather from my mother's side, and I have a grandfather from my mother's side. My allegiance is to both. That is how pressure groups, that is how movements work.
Okay, back to Shamim.
Yes.
Talk to us. What is your plan for Kampala? Why are you running for this seat, woman MP?
Before I go to that, I want to clarify something that Dr. Stella raised here. She seems to be having a lot of questions with no answers, so I'll help her briefly to clarify. First and foremost, I want her to know that first and foremost, no one is forcing anybody to abandon their political party. So she can remain in FDC. She's FDC nope. No one is forcing her. So she still has that right. Secondly, let me arrest her fears regarding, not being people power or being people power. The talks between the principals or amongst the leaders of the different political affiliations are still ongoing. So I don't know why she's too fast to judge, why she's coming out, she's acting under panic. No, wait, let me clarify. You had your time.
Stella,
Let me
give her
clarify
time.
this.
Give her time.
You should not be under panic because you're not a member
I'm
of.
not panicking. I'm asking critical
You are not
questions.
a member
Asking
of
critical
no.
questions
You are
is
FDC.
important.
So
I am people power.
now you have already
I'm
had your
asking
time.
questions
Can
to
you give
people
me time
power.
to explain?
Questions to people power that all of us must ask.
This is not about making noise. Let's not make
No,
noise.
I'm not making
we are speaking
I am
to
asking
oppressed
valid
Ugandans and they are
questions about
listening.
people power.
Please, let's not.
Oppressed Ugandans in people power.
This is not about
Who deserve
yapping and
answers.
over talking. It's
Okay,
about
listen.
addressing
Okay, wait a minute.
issues.
Okay,
Please.
okay, so let's-
Can we address?
Shutting me up.
Okay, so
Shutting me up.
okay,
He's
so
calling me a yapper. I'm not a yapper.
Okay,
I'm
so-
a critical thinker.
asking critical questions that must be answered. Why is she calling it yapping?
Give me time to explain.
No,
to you
because
and
you're
give you
misrepresenting me.
answers. No,
Don't
I'm not
misrepresenting me. Don't say I'm
I'm not
panicking. A panicker doesn't look like I do.
The words you say.
Respect me. I have respected
But
you
you
as a
must also
person in
respect
Perry.
others,
Don't say I'm
please.
panicking. Do I look like I'm panicking?
The words
Do
you're
I look
uttering.
like I'm panicking?
If-
I'm asking critical questions that must be asked. I'm a critical thinker. I'm a critical scholar. I have to ask.
Thank you.
When you were asked in your examination room about things that you should have known, was it panic when your examiners asked you?
all right. Thanks, Stella, for that clarification. Shamim, let's
yeah,
move on to your
so
plan
what,
for Kampala.
Yeah, but still,
Why are you standing for the woman MP for Kampala?
yeah, after arresting, I think I have arrested your fears. You wait when the principals, yes,
fears,
okay, your questions will be answered when the principals come out of the meeting.
Shamim, now on to
Secondly,
my
about
question.
the issue of the People Power Alliance and everything, the talks that are ongoing, let's wait. Please don't be under panic and don't ask questions about NOP because on air because you're not a NOP member.
Expand your vocabulary.
Okay, let me now go that.
When someone is being clever, don't use panic.
You're clever.
Here I am. Clever
you.
I
questions.
mean, let's I think address the issues and leave the other argument alone.
Language that's appropriate, Canary.
But she must also learn to respect people.
Yes, but
and
Shamim-
even
Shamim,
please
let's-
respect everyone.
You said I'm yapping.
You have insulted everyone before, so please.
Do not insult
How are you going to
You
represent
call me
the
a
people of
yapper. I
Kampala?
am not a yapper, Shamim. You have to be careful about your vocabulary. We are speaking to the public. You have called me a yapper and you say I'm yapping when I'm asking questions. You say you studied law. Use language appropriately.
Please.
Thanks, Stella. I'll now move on to Farida Nambi. Farida, you want to run on the NRM ticket. What is your plan for Kampala?
Correct. Before I answer that question, I would like to wish the people of Uganda and the Muslims, happy Eid, because we're still going on for 3 days. And to the Buganda Kingdom, I salute the Buganda Kingdom under the Kabaka Mutebi for having achieved 27 years of success and great growth in the Uganda Kingdom. Now, Nambi Farida, yes, is a contestant on the NRM ticket for Kampala Woman MP. My plans, I'm not new to the work in Kampala. Canary, I started in 2003 with the Nambi Children Initiatives. Registered it, started as voluntary people, collecting education bursaries for orphans, and especially total orphans, from the ghetto area. My home was plot 96 Kira Road, just here, your neighbor. And behind is the biggest slum called Kifumbira slums. So I have seen the pain in children who are despairing, women who have lost their husbands, those are single mothers. I've seen prostitutes who also have cases why they run away from home, and I've seen rural urban migration enlarging the slums. So I am not new. I have come to enter with the mandate, to enter parliament with the mandate of the people, to continue. Me, I'm not new. I've been at service. I have witnesses and beneficiaries to that service. I've been a producer of Nambi Talk Show as a media platform to lobby for children's causes. I'm a member of Ugandan Child Rights Network. I am the president of the Union of Muslim Women that works with the Mothers Union, works with the Catholic Women's Guild, works with the pastors' wives, and the Seventh-day Adventist women. So I am not new in service.
Okay, so why do you think that qualifies you as a good candidate for that seat?
It qualifies because one of the biggest disservice that we have received, and I will speak as I'm a resident in Makindye as Kampala, is having people that are not passionate to the service of the most common person. And if I have served already and I am going to continue service, that gives me a big shoe because I know the problems down there and I will be legislating for those people. I will be mostly lobbying here in Uganda and internationally for the less privileged people.
Okay, Farida, what is Kampala's biggest problem?
The Kampala's biggest problem, according to me, are leaders that don't go back to the people, and the issue of that people vote. Kampala here has voted, but when you go down there, they tell you that we have not seen our leaders. Service has not reached down to the people, either through corruption or bureaucracy, or people are just silent in the parliament. So Kampala has a big vacuum to be represented, especially under this Kampala woman seat. So I bring on experience, I bring on my service to children and women who are the most vulnerable groups, by the way, in Kampala.
NRM is considered a weak party in terms of mobilization here in Kampala, and that we can tell through the members of parliament being able to front, to parliament just in Kampala alone. Look at all the divisions; it has none. Why are you choosing to run on an NRM ticket?
First of all, I'd wish to correct you. NRM has won a seat in Kampala. On this position, Kampala woman MP, Mrs. Margaret Ziwa, she was the member of parliament before Honorable Nabila came. And Muhammad Nsereko, Honorable, Kampala Central, came in as an NRM person and won. So Kampala is not like a Bible, that Bibles or Qurans that they cannot be changed. Kampala has been lacking a person who truly has witnesses and beneficiaries. You know, you can't, I'm a heartprint. Nambi is a heartprint. She will be given votes by both the opposition and the NRM.
That's not possible.
It is possible.
How is it going to be possible that opposition is going to vote for you?
Listen to me. You could pick votes from opposition people who have benefited or witnessed your service on the ground. Yes. Because, parties are eventually canary. Sometimes they don't matter. People can vote for you as they are convinced, as long as they are convinced that you can offer the service.
They matter. That's why you're running on NRM ticket.
I am running on NRM. I'll explain that. Because NRM, for me as Nambi, Canary, get this from me today, I always stick with the party in government. Why? It has power and resources. Okay? I Nambi, I offer a message to the people of Kampala. My message of what I'm going to do. I don't have the budget. So let us not lie to these Ugandans. Nobody here will have the budget. We will be offering oversight on the budget of the existing government. And I can assure you, with NRM having 11.9 members, we are going to win the presidency.
That figure is contested. But before I move on to the other panelists, you're saying that you always stick to the party in government because of its resources.
And when it goes away, Canary, I go into the next government.
Okay, so you are in NRM because you don't believe in its values and principles, but because you think it's in government and therefore, and that's a fact, it's in government, and therefore it's going to be easy for you to lobby resources.
I am going to elaborate for you many
So you don't believe in the party, you don't believe in what the party represents.
I am a member because I believe. I'm not a woman who can be coerced. I'm a member and I have my membership card.
But if government changes today, you'll move on to the next one.
Yes, because I move within the governments in power. Because I want actual service. I've not come in here to be like an activist on the road with posters. Museveni must go. No. Yeah? I'm a religious woman. I know that the president came into this power by the grace of God, and by that time that the God who brought him wishes, he will take him away.
Okay.
Thanks, I'm loyal to governments that are in place.
Okay. Thanks, Farida. Your loyalty. Dr. Stella Nyanzi, talk to us about your membership with FDC, in FDC.
So I just want to reiterate what Farida says. She says she's not an activist standing on the road with posters saying, Museveni must go. I am an activist standing on the road, infiltrating your minds, going onto TV and saying, Museveni must go. Okay? And I belong to FDC because it's an opposition party. The ideology of FDC rhymes with my own ideology as an oppressed Ugandan who's crying desperately for liberation, for freedom. I'm tired of the oppression of the current regime.
You said the same about People Power.
Yes, and I'm telling you about my membership to FDC. I think that People Power for me is an amplification of what we do in FDC. In FDC, we are defiant to the core. I joined FDC in 2017 after observing the grief of Ugandans who had lost the vote. Many of us voted for Dr. Chiza Besigye in 2016. We were refused a morning when we were beaten into silence by the repressive regime, an outpouring of military men on the streets. In that moment of mourning, I thought, where do I go to continue fanning a flame, my fire, to fight for liberation, right? People Power does one thing for me, that it allows me to work with others outside FDC party. On the same mission, Museveni must go. That is my mission. That is why my pulse beats with the pulse of thinkers and activists in People Power. I belong to FDC, the question you asked, because we have claims to being a forum for democratic change. I'm a true believer in democracy. I am embarrassed as an Ugandan that the current ruling party, NRM, has curtailed, cut off, shrunk, dissipated, eliminated, even murdered all the elements, the core values of democracy. Forum for Democratic Change allows me to believe and hope that we can redeem democracy for Uganda beyond elective politics, but also within elective politics. I think that FDC has proven to Ugandans historically that we are a democratic party, right? We are perhaps the most democratic party that this country has. And because I believe in the tenets of democracy, and also because FDC allows me...
No, you're not. You've had only one candidate ever since the party started. He's ran for presidential candidate for 4 terms. He's likely going to run for the 5th one. Why is democracy there?
Why is that not democracy? I think that FDC, unlike NRM, allows me to challenge and criticize that practice of having one sole candidate, if that's what you say. I'm allowed within FDC to say, why is it that historically we've only fielded one party, one presidential candidate? I am allowed within FDC. I am allowed within FDC to express these views, a thing that you cannot do in NRM. I am allowed within FDC to actively ally with People Power. My members, the members of FDC, the leadership of FDC, never say to me, Stella Nyanzi, why are you running around with Bobi wine? They never say that to me. There were threats that I would be thrown out of my party. There were even fake, photoshopped, dismissal letters floated around social media. Stella Nyanzi has been thrown out of FDC because she criticized, because she asked about internal democracy. I am still in FDC. Why? I'm still running for the FDC primaries. Why? My nomination forms were accepted. Why? Because in FDC, we are allowed to express divergent views.
Okay.
So I'm a testimony of democracy within FDC.
Okay, so there is always...
Allow me.
You asked about People Power.
Museveni has been offering himself with the support of SEC. SEC has several members.
What was Anita doing?
Listen.
What was even Anita doing? Kneeling down like a goat.
You must be thinking you must be a wonderful special person, because people, SEC, which is the governing arm of the party of NRM, keeps fronting him.
What was Evelyn Anita doing?
And he manages
grappling
to go
on the
through
floor,
the law to bring his...
Kneeling and begging him to be
papers
sole
and paying
candidate
them
in
back
2016.
And paying according to the law. So you cannot speak about NRM, internal democracies. Because you don't know them.
Okay.
I don't speak about NRM. I speak for FDC. And I said, I'm a witness to the democracy within FDC that I've criticized. I have criticized. I have questioned all the leadership. Unlike People Power, when I began questioning about NUP, they wanted to throw me out. I want to call for internal democracy, both within our country as people, but also in our parties. Because I
claim that I speak truth to power. I don't only speak truth to power to dictators, to power to my leaders in FDC. I speak truth to power to the leadership of people power. I speak truth to power.
So let's listen to each other.
He rigged.
Dr. Stella Nyanzi.
Yes.
So there's always a trade-off when campaigns start, that the presidential candidate will go and campaign for the member of parliament of that particular party when they are in that particular constituency. And it's assumed, it's an assumption, it's not always true 100%, that the member of parliament, or rather the candidate for MPship in that particular constituency, will also receive that presidential candidate and campaign for them. What will happen when Robert Kyagulanyi comes to Kampala and the presidential candidate for FDC, whether it is Dr. Kano Kiza Besigye or Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, whoever they will choose, what will happen when they come to Kampala and you are on the same seat here in Kampala district? What will you do? Who are you going to campaign for?
So, Kanari, I don't want you to be like my people power comrade who is running over herself. In FDC, we have internal processes. We have a roadmap for our electoral roadmap in FDC. There was a call for those interested in the member of parliament positions, those interested in youth positions, or the special interest group positions. We also have a date for the presidential nominations, and those who want to express interest in being president will come. Why are we asking about speculation, like who is going to run for FDC?
I don't think that's a question I asked. The question I asked was,
I do not want you to make me speculate about things that haven't happened.
That's not what I asked.
You say to me, what happens if it hasn't yet happened? Right now, I know that Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has expressed interest for over a year, in the presidency. I know it for a fact that he has. I am waiting for my party, FDC, for its processes. I refuse to be coerced into discussing what has not yet happened, right? In the event that Robert Kyagulanyi has a crusade, a rally, or whatever it is, I will go and sit there in my beret because I'm people power. I will not wear the umbrella because I'm not Nope. When FDC has functions, I will go until they distinguish for me and say to me, Stella, you don't belong to people power. In fact, I'm expecting that my nomination forms that I took to people power and gave to the National Elections Management Committee are going to get the approval of people power, because people power wants to go with the winning Kampala woman MP, and it's I don't know what Robert Kyagulanyi will do in terms of Nope. He must decide and give the blessing to Shamim as a member of Nope. He's the president of Nope. In people power, my forms remain there, and I expect his endorsement because I'm the best candidate for this position in people power.
Okay.
Right? And so I am expecting that the leadership of those groupings, those formations that I belong to, are going to build my candidature, are going to encourage me standing and contesting fairly, and let Ugandans choose.
Are you supporting the presidency of Robert Kyagulanyi?
Totally. I am supporting the presidency of everybody who has expressed interest and is going to run. I have not heard as yet from my party. So let us wait for my party today. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, for me, is the person who has expressed, out of all those who are listed, I salute to Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. FDC has not fronted a candidate as yet.
Well,
I support Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu because he has declared he wants to run for presidency.
It will not be too long. We have up to
Invite
the 5th
me again.
of August.
Invite me again.
We have up to the 5th. We have up to the 5th of August to know what comes out of the internal activities of FDC and who is going to be the presidential candidate for FDC. Shamim, talk to us about the confusion between people power and Nope. Stella actually is a clear representation of exactly what's happening here, that people are divided between people power, Nope, and then their political parties. Why did you choose to go this way as people power?
First and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity to clarify on this issue. The people power movement remains, and it's inclusive, and its principle is Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. It brings on board all persons, all political parties, all independents, all change-seeking people, or Ugandans, whether here or...
Maybe use the other microphone.
This one?
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to clarify on this issue. First, I would like to tell the entire nation that the People Power movement remains. Yeah? It still exists, and its principal is Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And this People Power movement brings on board all persons who are change seekers, people who are interested in regime change, irrespective of your political affiliation. We are for Ugandan. People Power movement, we are for Uganda. We are for every person. We are for everyone. That is one. However, there is NOP, which is a registered political party. It is called the National Unity Platform. That National Unity Platform was registered in a bid to answer questions that many Ugandans and voters have been asking the People Power movement. Our comrades had already started telling us that we have no home. We have no symbol that we are going to use. Ugandans were already getting confused, and they were asking, how are we going to identify that these are the people that believe in the people power values? It is not enough to say that you are people power because you have been with Kyagulanyi for some time. It is not enough to say that you are people power because you are wearing a red beret. You must subscribe to the values of people power.
Tell that to
and
Stella.
among those, we have the drifts. One is discipline. Discipline. A leader must have discipline. Then you must have a sense of reliability. You must be consistent when you're speaking. You must be reliable so that the masses can trust that even when they elect you to office, you're not going to go against them.
Okay, so let me put this to you.
Yes.
The forms that people like Stella Nyanzi picked from People Power offices, they had People Power on them. What will happen? What's going to happen? Because like Stella Nyanzi has picked forms from FDC, and you've told people like her that they don't need to leave their political parties, right?
Yes.
So what is going to happen?
No, there are two ways. First, there is an issue of answering the question or clearing the confusion about the voters. We are saying that if someone is picked as a candidate for people power, they should be willing to use the umbrella to avoid confusion to the public. That is the first option. Stella, first wait. You must be willing to use the umbrella, not to cause confusion to the public. That is the first option. However, there is a second one. The two principles are still meeting. Actually, the principles from the different political parties and affiliations. And there are other parties that have
Which
memorandums.
principles? We know Robert Kyagulanyi as the head of People Power.
As
Which other
the
principles?
head of NOP, well, there is Kizza Besigye as the head of as People's Government. We have Patrick Amuriat of the
People's
FDC.
Government is not even a political party. It's
but
like
it's
People
a
Power
pressure,
actually.
but they are in talks because they have leaders.
So let me ask you.
Yes.
What happens if someone from NOP,
yes.
let me put this to you and draw for you or paint a picture of the confusion here. What happens if someone, actually this is the perfect example. You are from NOP and you're going to hold the umbrella as your symbol. Dr. Stella Nyanzi is from FDC but has also picked People Power forms. What is going to happen? Are you going to go for primaries, or you're going to say as long as you, as Shamim Malende, has accepted to pick the umbrella as the symbol, and therefore the political party and the People Power are going to support you and not Stella Nyanzi?
First and foremost,
regardless,
there are no primaries in the People Power movement. As you know, it is not a registered party. That is the first issue. Secondly, I was giving you the second option, that there are parties that are signing memorandums with the principle of NOP and the People Power movement. So some of these candidates are going to be guided by the memorandum between the People Power movement principle or the NOP principle and the leaders.
So for now, you're not
parties.
sure?
The other parties. No, there are two options. There are two options. And that's why I was telling my comrade from FDC that there's no need to rush and panic. Let's wait. Let's wait and see what comes out of the deliberations.
Okay, thanks, Shamim. We now take a short commercial break. But when we return, we're going to still clear the confusion and then hear from Farida Nambi, Dr. Stella Nyanzi, and Shamim Malende about their plans for exactly what they want to do for Kampala. This is the Big Talk. Stay tuned here. We'll be back in just a bit.
As Uganda goes to the polls in 2021. Rokshana Namuyimba, senior news anchor, will be reporting live from the Political Command Center. NBS. Always.
Halima Wanyana Nkata, muwala wa Mwami Mpaji Charles, muzzukulu wa Mwami Nkata Zephania, n'eddira Nsenene. Ffe ku MTN tuyazaayoza Ssaabasajja Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi owookubiri okutuuka ku matikkira ag'omulundi ogwa 2007. Wangaala ayi Ssaabasajja, wangaala maaso
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Twakulaze abaana abali fiti ku bwongo mu kazannyo samba ne MTN. Kakati tunoonya abaana abali fiti mu kwogerera endiba. MTN ne Sanyuka TV tunoonya omwogezi w'omupiira mu ggwanga ddako. Weekakasa ekitone ky'omu kwogerera omupiira? Guno gwe mukisa gw'olina okwewangulira kontrakiti y'ensava ne Sanyuka TV. Olwo weegatte ku bakafulu baffe abaweereza Star Times Uganda Premier League nga Michael Kigozi, Martin Kaddu, Solomon Saka n'abalala. Okwetaba mu mpaka zino weereza akatambiko ng'oyogera omupiira gwa Uganda ku nnamba 0775 716 798. Oba oyite ku mukutu mugattabantu ogwa Facebook okuli Sanyuka TV oba ogwa MTN ng'okozesa #MTNUGFootball. Abalondeddwa bakuyitibwa okwetaba mu kazannyo samba ne MTN. Jabbira owangule wano ku Sanyuka TV. Abawanguzi bakufuna ebirabo ntoko nga kwotadde ne kontrakiti ne Sanyuka TV. Bano ddala mu by'emizannyo n'ebisanyusa. Samba ne MTN. Tabbira owangule. Ekutuusibwako MTN. Abawagizi b'omupiira gwa Uganda namba emu.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
The COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on people's social and economic well-being and the economy in Uganda. Accordingly, all stakeholders, including businesses, have to play their part in order to attain an inclusive, equitable, and sustainable recovery. It is in this regard that the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, with support from DGF, has organized the NE Dialogue under the theme, Promoting Responsible Business for Economic Recovery. The e-dialogue brings together stakeholders from government ministries, departments, and agencies, civil society organizations, academia, and the business community. The panelists include Bernard Mujuni from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Alex Asimwe from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Ruth Sechindi from Uganda Human Rights Commission, Ramadhan Gobi from Makerere University Business School, Saliman Namosovia from the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, Connie Kechihembo from Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, Matia Rangabwanika from Wakiso District Local Government, Arnold Kwesiga from Uganda Consortium on Corporate Accountability. The e-dialogue will be telecast live on the 2nd of August 2020 on NBS TV from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Powered by Initiative for Social and Economic Rights with funding support from the Democratic Governance Facility.
Mugume
on 106.1 Next Radio.
Keep the conversation alive at Next Radio UG. #YoungPower.
You are listening to 106.1 Next Radio, and this is The Big Talk. My name is Kanare Mugume, and we are live both online and on television and NBS TV. Today on the show, we are looking at the race for Kampala woman MP. And today in the studios, I have Farida Nambi, who is going to be aspiring for that seat under the NRM ticket. I have Shamim Malende, who is going to be aspiring for the same seat under NUP. I have Dr. Stella Nyanzi, who is going to be coming for the same seat as FDC. So we want to understand what are the issues, what are they bringing on the table? And beginning with you, Farida, let's understand what has Nabila Nagai Sempala not done that you want to change?
First of all, I have been working with the women councils even before in my work with women. Women Council is headed by Farida Chibowa, who is a member of my party NRM, and we have structures in all the divisions of Kampala, going down to the zones or the villages. What I am seeing is that there is no link between the office of Kampala Woman MP and the woman who sits on the LC1 committees at the village level. And the women of the Women Council, Nabila was supposed to be the secretary. She was supposed to be the secretary of the Women Council, the Secretary General, which position she has never filled. So I have been prior working with the Women Council, because I've told you I've already been working with children and women, and I just seek to continue my work.
What exactly has in, apart from that, because Kampala has big problems, we have traffic congestion that is killing us. There's poor drainage systems, there's unemployment, there's sanitation, everything. What hasn't she done? Do you feel like she's not occupied this seat as she should have?
One, about Nabila, she has been silent. I can tell you that. Silent and missing. Sorry. Silent and missing. So basically, what I am saying, a woman MP must be felt by the women down there. Women must be feeding you, especially the leaders. So if you're not connecting with the leaders, like the Women Council, like the woman, the Nabachala who sits at the village level, then what's your purpose? So one of the things I have to do very quickly is to link my office of the Woman MP with the Women Council and the Nabachala, such that there is information that flows from the grassroots to my office and from my office in terms of lobbying for these women, in terms of having meetings to upgrade their leadership and our service, our collective service to the people. That's what one thing I'm going to do very quickly. The other thing, I started my service in 2003 in the ghettos of Kampala. Ghettos of Kampala, they are becoming bigger. The problems there are becoming deeper. So we need a slum upgrade. We need a slum upgrade with affordable housing units as quickly as possible. Otherwise, that slum will push away Kololo even. And I've seen this from 2003. I've seen it, and I was speaking as an executive director of Nambi Children Initiatives to the powers that be. By the way, I've founded a platform called the National Children Thanksgiving Day. It's always annually at Serena for children, because I'm a member of the Child Rights Network, to speak to policy that now these places where you see youth with no jobs, how can we revamp them? So that should be part of my legislation in Parliament.
Okay.
Yeah, so slum upgrade, market, to support the common person, to be highly involved in economic development of our country. Market upgrade, and maybe more disorganization. You can see on Sunday that women are selling on the streets. There are a lot of street vendors. Work with City Hall. That's why I congratulate my mentor, the lady now at City Hall. I know she's going to bring a lot.
Who, Dorothy Chisaka?
Yes, Madame Kisaka. She's going to bring a lot of her wealth of experience, because actually she's also a person who has been supporting a lot of young children in her different capacities. So I look forward to working with City Hall, because they have a mandate and a budget. So I'll be talking to Parliament, but also City Hall, to up the game in the city in terms of sanitation should be improved if we improve slums. So those are some of the things.
Okay, thanks, Farida.
But also oversight in Parliament. We need to look at where money is going and why is it going there. See how our causes, we shout very hard to see that the causes that affect the common person are listened to.
Okay. Yes. Thanks, Farida. Dr. Stella Nyanzi, talk to us. Many people have heard from so many politicians and they promise them heaven and earth. When they get to parliament, it becomes, they go silent and they never hear from them. Farida Nambi here just told us that Nabila Nagai has been so silent that she comes back after 4 years to seek for the FDC ticket to run for the seat. Talk to us. Why should the people of Kampala vote you?
Right. So I just want to say that as a woman in FDC, I apologize that FDC fronted Nabila Nagai because similar to my opponent in NRM, I don't know what Nabila has done, particularly in her third term. We go to Parliament to legislate. There have been a number of legislations that have been either amended or the Constitution has been amended where articles have been removed, and I was hoping that I'd seen Nabila active at the front line. I was embarrassed. I wish she was here to hear me saying this straight to her face. I was embarrassed when Honorable Nabila Nagai, during the Tojikwata debacle in Parliament, was totally upset, and her absence was exaggerated and amplified by Mohammed Insedeko, who was asking desperately, Nabila Aliwa, where's Nabila? Where's Nabila? So unlike Nabila Nagai of the FDC, I want to enter FDC as a new sharp knife from FDC.
Let me just pause you right there.
Of women
Let me just pause you right there.
who are going to legislate effectively for Ugandans based on the Kampala seat. Yes, Canary.
These are the words of Dr. Stella Nyanzi about Nabila Nagai.
Tell me.
Beauty, brains, boldness, what a woman, what a wonder. Even I find myself staring at the open mouth at this lady.
Staring open mouth.
Like, these women politicians are fire, fire, fire. I love this fire.
We are fire. We are fire. I want you to understand
what happened with the beauty, the brains, the boldness.
Nabila is a very beautiful woman.
What I'm saying is that what happened
Nabila is a very beautiful woman. We must not dismiss that. But we don't take beauty to Parliament. We take boldness. I was expecting that her boldness that has been displayed on TV and radio the last few weeks would be there for us as women of Kampala, as women of Uganda, as voters of Uganda. That boldness that I've seen on TV has been missing desperately. And so I apologize. Beauty, brains, what was the other one?
Boldness.
Boldness. And so when I said, I'm staring open mouth, like, your jaw drops down because you're like, she has so much potential to impact issues around power and exclusion, to legislate on behalf of Ugandans. I don't know why she didn't do it. I would have wanted Nabila to sit here.
We invited her.
I would have wanted to ask her, Honorable MP, what happened? And so you say to me, what am I bringing that's different? First of all...
And by the way, you asked to have coffee with Nabila to be mentored in things of survival as a woman politician in Uganda.
Because...
And at the same time, she's not done anything for Kampala, so...
That is why I was hoping to ask again for coffee.
Contradicting.
No. I want you to understand the language of irony, the language of sarcasm, the language of okusudia, okuchina, okuwana, okumusika eriyo. Okay? That is what we do. I'm a woman who has mastered language. When I say to you, oh, Canary, you're so handsome, begin to ask yourself, why is Nyanzi praising me? What does she want from me? What does she want to say about my failings? And so sitting down to take coffee with Nabila would be an interesting enterprise for all of us here, because we want to go into her seat. How do we become better? Nabila can teach us how not to fail as she failed, how not to underperform, because her underperformance is scary. And so in terms of legislation, I want to be there when they're kukwatering the Constitution. I want to be there to amend laws. Parliament has produced for us POMA. While Nabila was there, the Public Order Management Act. As a member of the opposition, I cannot meet because of the Public Order Management Act. There's a Computer Misuse Act under which I was tried, charged, convicted, and then acquitted, right? Those bad laws in Parliament, I want to go and change, amend, contribute to the rethinking around the laws for Kampala-based people, but also Ugandans at large, women, men, girls, and boys, okay? One of the things I want to go, because I have a big mouth, Shamim was telling the world about my big mouth. Some people call it yapping. I call it articulating those issues that have to be articulated. I call it advocacy. I call it activism with the mouth. Because the words we speak are mightier than the guns they use against us. So I'm going to take my big mouth to Parliament to cause change for that LDU beaten woman. We
Where was Nabila when LDUs were smashing us during COVID-19 times? During COVID-19, I was expecting that our members of parliament would show up for us. Where was Nabila when women were sleeping in the markets? They were menstruating. And there was no toilet or a place to put their sanitary pads. Where was Nabila Nagai Sentamu or Sempala when border men were crying for survival? When we were beating our pots and pans as forces, United Forces of Change, People Power and FDC, People's Government and FDC, where was Nabila to beat the pans with all of us hungry Ugandans? Because she's an opposition-fronted member of parliament. And so I want to go to parliament and make a difference for women who are oppressed, for traders in the market, taxes, the taxation issue, the arcade issue. She said she's not a protester. I'm a protester because in the opposition we are powerless. And so I make protest placards to speak truth to power. I will be speaking truth to power on behalf of the oppressed in Kampala. Oversight. Oversight is an important role. Budgets have been passed while Nabila was in parliament. Supplementary budgets. I didn't hear her voice. What was Nabila doing? I will go and offer oversight in such a way that the presence of the Kampala woman MPs will be felt in parliament. When they bring their budgets, they'll know Nyanzi will be there. She will have read those budgets. How could Matia, Minister, the economy has gone few? How could he present that budget? And all the members of parliament were sleeping, accepting it. I will be the person who is going to... If parliament is a phone, I'm the charger. If parliament is a school, I'm the chibok. If parliament is a platform, I'm going to walk on that platform in every way possible. And so I'm going to parliament to make changes for those of us who are oppressed, for traders, for women, for kidnapped women who died. How do we explain to their orphans that women were kidnapped? Okay? We had legislators who were silent until the issue affected Susan Magara of their class. So those of us who don't have access to that class of power, I want to represent our issues. What did Nabila do when the social media tax and the mobile money tax were flaunted in parliament, right? And so I want to go to parliament and first of all legislate on behalf of Ugandans, particularly those of us who don't have access to power. The woman member of parliament position is a quota based on affirmative action. Nabila totally delegitimized the need to go and run as women. I want to go and put relevance in the quota for women. There are a few women in parliament who are working under UWOPA, Uganda Women Parliamentarians Association, and we see their effect. But I want to build the fire of those women who are working for people of Uganda, and make relevant the woman quota, because the discussions now around the importance of affirmative action. Those who want to take the seat away from us are beginning to ask, hey, is this really relevant? Because these women get to parliament and they sleep. Okay. They can be bought.
As a woman member of parliament...
not to be bought.
To clarify.
Clarifying.
Okay, go on.
Stella said, you said...
You're not a protester.
That I don't protest. I can't protest to a service, to an actual service being delivered. I was meaning, being that Stella, you never brought here Museveni. Having a poster to say Museveni must go.
Museveni committed treason to...
Fine, but the thing is that...
He committed treason. They were in a sitting government.
Let's listen to us.
Meeting, it is better to offer... Kampala's people are tired of empty protests, of just putting up placards. And that's why the last protest that was called I'm not dissing empty
protests. Effective.
But
distance myself from empty protests.
Good.
I am not a person who organizes empty protests.
Service.
What is the alternative? What is the alternative?
An actual service. What is the alternative? Actually, before I even go to what is the alternative, big mouth everywhere possible in Stella's. I wish that big mouth and everywhere possible, where you can say anything, you can be indisciplined as a leader, is not also a good way.
Oh, come on,
do you understand?
Come on.
It's also a good way. Because what will it be? No.
No. You can't tell me how to speak. Where is the obscenity? Where is the obscenity?
You have talked to
Where
Dr.
is
Besigye,
the
who is your
obscenity
boss in your party.
Where is the obscenity? I want you to quote it. Quote me some obscenity. Yes.
How many women do you sleep with? You can get that.
What is obscene about that? How many men have you slept with?
Women.
But Farida, how many men have you slept with?
Dr. Besigye. So we need leadership. What am I talking about? We need leadership that is disciplined. That is no. This is not hypocrisy. If you can speak to Dr. Besigye, who is the head of your party.
Farida. But Dr. Besigye is not the head of FDC.
Okay, he is one of the leaders of that and founders of that party. So what am I saying? I'm saying that let's be disciplined. I'm saying let's be moral. She is from the Mbogo clan. Yeah, you cannot continue. Not even actually Dr. Besigye. She has defamed the mother of the president before, and that was the case. Wasn't it the case?
Okay, so
accusations. I have to come back on this one.
Okay,
I have to come back. She is making strong allegations that have to be contested. She has to prove to me first of all.
Okay, so respond to those, then I move on to Shamim.
I want to say very quickly that two issues. One, do not let a hypocrite who organized a hijra using fake visas for women. Okay, she used the hijra. A Muslim pilgrimage called for women to collect their money. This woman is a liar and a mufere. Now, Farida, you know what you did.
I am not.
No.
I am a leader of the Muslim women.
I gave her an opportunity to speak.
I am
the fake visas, when these women got to the airport, I have a cousin who was part of the envoy. So the fake visas that she offered in the name of the pilgrimage, a Muslim woman doing this to fellow Muslims. So if we talk about indiscipline, what is dishonesty? I want to talk secondly about my language. My language, when I ask a leader about his sexuality, it is important for us. I am a feminist. I have talked about fake visas. Go and investigate. Go and investigate.
Give proof.
She got how do they go organized? These women got to the airport. You know what happened? Your visas were fake. No. Okay? So if we're talking about indiscipline, I speak truth to power.
Who is your cousin?
I speak truth with discipline. I have put this here. You have brought your... No. What has your discipline? What has your discipline done for us?
I think
the second issue I want to talk about.
Okay,
I'm beneficiaries to my service.
The second issue.
Okay, I've
the union of the Muslims.
Okay,
we've taken Muslim women for more than 7 years to a hijab.
Talking about discipline, big discipline,
because we all know your history.
Leaders.
We all know your history. You cannot live in a glass house and throw stones. We know about you. No. Farida, you say that I am. She says I'm indecent. I am obscene. I talk to Chiza Besigye. Tell me something new. I am not going to allow the dictator of this country, my oppressor, and his mouthpieces, in the form of women such as this one, who stand in NRM, to tell me how to engage in this war. I will use sharp words. I will use fiery words. I will use language. I am a Narongo. I have privilege over and above you. I will also tell you very quickly that I'm not a silent woman. As a Uganda woman, you know, you said I'm from the Buffalo clan. We are the only clan that touches the body of the Kabaka. Your clan cannot.
Okay.
Fetuweka Kabaka. That makes me totally above you. I touch the body of the Kabaka. If I can touch the Kabaka, why would I touch his Besigye?
Okay, so women have ladies have
not be subservient.
Ladies,
all the tools in the arsenal.
Ladies, I've turned both your mics off because we're doing a disservice when we speak at the same time, and the viewer does not get exactly what the point is. So I beg that when one is speaking, then the other must listen.
No. He asked a question.
But it's exactly what we're doing now.
He asked a question.
It's exactly what you're doing. So back to the issues. Dr. Stella Nyanzi, you will respond to those, and there's always time. We have about an hour to go. You respond to those things. But Dr. Stella Nyanzi, back to the issues I asked. You're going to be at the center, or you're aspiring to be at the center of policy formulation. What are those laws that you think should be changed to benefit the common person, the common woman here in Kampala? Let's begin with those.
Right. So I just want to say very quickly that what you put as a disclaimer for my conduct in studio must be challenged, because when she spoke, I said she has made strong allegations that I want to respond to. While I was responding to them, she came with rebuttals. So I think the rules have to be directed to her. You talked about what legislations need reform. I think that first of all, Parliament has to be redeemed. It was in our Parliament that the Constitution was raped, right, by the executive, and important articles that are safeguards against abuse of power from the executive branch of government were removed. So the age limit, the term limit, and very many other articles were removed. I think it's important that Parliament either lobbies or ushers in a moment of reclaiming those articles for Ugandans, reclaiming the Constitution back to ourselves. I want to be part of that process. They say big mouth. I want to bring my big mouth towards that cause. In the next regime, 2021-2026, I think we do a disservice to ourselves if we allow the residue coming from rape to remain, okay? There are bills that I'm really interested in promoting in Parliament, but you asked what legislation is wrong. I want to respond to your exact question. I mentioned the Public Order Management Act. We know why, as opposition members, we can no longer congregate because of articles within, because of sections within the Public Order Management Act. There are laws such as the Computer Misuse Act, under which I was arrested, charged, tried, convicted, and I think that a number of us who cannot operate in public space take to social media and the public media to express ourselves, to express dissidence, to express dissent, and to express strong criticism against the current regime. Regulating computer use in very ambiguous, amorphous, and overly broad ways is doing a disservice because it closes down freedom of expression, but also civil and political space to engage. Because I was a prisoner, the Prisons Act is dear to me. There's a lot of torture, there's a lot of abuse of human rights and violations of prisoners, both men and women, that is going on, and that was allowed by the colonial ingredients of the Prisons Act. And so I'm very interested in amending, removing abusive clauses within the Prisons Act. I want to also talk about the divorce.
Which ones are abusive?
There's a number of, so corporal punishment, for example, was removed by an amendment of Parliament, but corporal punishment continues, okay? I was denied access to my medical information when I had a miscarriage in prison, and that is legal using the Prison Act. You have to go through a number of obstacles to getting access to your own medical information as a prisoner. So I cannot even get post-abortive care today because my medical history is retained by the prison services. I can't get access to it. And there are very many prohibitive rules, regulations, articles, really colonial, around respectability, but overly giving power to prison wardresses to beat up, punish. What happens in solitary confinement is not regulated by the laws of Uganda, okay? And so one cannot even sue the prison because there's no law upon which to base. I was talking about the Divorce and Marriage Bill, which is very dear to my heart. It has been in Parliament for a long time, like for donkey's years. And it will have women members of Parliament. And so there are pieces of legislation that I think are totally abusive. The Social Media Act, the OTT Tax Act, the rules, the laws providing for that. I think that also silences the KCCA authority is given permission and leeway to criminalize poverty. And so I was in prison with women who were arrested for just selling mangoes, men who were arrested because they were working as hawkers. Laws such as the rogue and vagabond, the provision in the Penal Code, I think the Penal Code must be revisited. And so I think that Parliament offers, for me, as a scholar who was based in the School of Law for a long time doing research, an opportunity to interrogate the laws that are existent, but also to generate new bills. So one of the things I've been doing research on is what committees in Parliament was Nabila a member of? What private members' bills did she bring, did she table? How many times did she seek leave from the Speaker of Parliament to go and work on a private member's bill? And so unlike my sister, whose answers I don't know, I would like her to come and tell me what she did, because I really don't know what Nabila did for us in Parliament. I would like to be actively involved in decriminalizing poverty. Kampala has a number of poor people, the traders, the market women, arcade owners, boda men, informal sector. But the laws that exist criminalize their activities. Why? I mean, the free zone, free boda zone, I have a problem with that. You know, gentrification of the city is based on very classist terms where the wealthy don't want the poor invading their spaces. And so the laws that shut out and criminalize and penalize hardworking poor people must be revisited, and we need to table new bills that cater for poor people.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the opposition. Protection of the opposition, protection of dissidents, protection. So freedom of expression has to be strengthened using law, right? Especially when those of us who speak not to praise the regime, but to criticize. And so I need special provisions provided, maybe a law, maybe an amendment to the existing laws, emphasizing freedom of expression, freedom of conscience, even to critique, even to do what she does, to be rude, because that is the extent of freedom of expression.
Okay, so the Parliament has the provision of a whole office of leader of opposition.
Yes.
Do you think that that has helped in any way? It also, the Constitution also gives powers to the Electoral Commission to allow the opposition to actively participate in the politics of Uganda. Not just that, government also gives money to political parties that are registered and have representation in Parliament. Do you think that that has been enough?
Right, so those are 4 questions, Canary. The leader of opposition position, I celebrate, because for a long time it's been dominated by my party, Forum for Democratic Change. I want to say that in terms of the work of Winnie Kiza, the outgoing, before the current leader of opposition, we saw the rise to power of an eloquent, articulate woman member of parliament. We saw what it means to lobby and organize caucuses around issues and organize, mobilize even people in the NRM to our side. And so what Winnie Chiza was able to achieve for us in Parliament as members of opposition must be celebrated, right? Your question was, is it a relevant seat, right? Is it useful to have a leader of opposition seat? I think it's important because, one, it's constitutional. It's provided for in our constitution. I want to say that the leader of opposition many times is there to give an alternative perspective on every issue brought into Parliament, and whether she speaks as herself or she speaks through others, she's often advised by technocrats and those sitting on other committees in Parliament, but also by ministry experts. Yeah, there are ministers who come and their technocrats come with them to advise about issues. I think it's important to always have an alternative position, particularly when we are not in government.
Okay.
Right? So, yes.
You're going to respond the rest later. Let me give time to Shamim Malende. Shamim, speak to us about your plans for Kampala.
Yeah, first and foremost, Kanri, I want to categorically state it here that I'm not going to discuss personalities here. So issues to do with Nabila, the only thing I can tell the nation is that, unlike my comrades here, I have had opportunity to interact with her already, and what I learned from her, I wanted to find out the challenges that she faced, or that she has been facing, or that she's facing as the woman member of parliament, so that I can best equip myself when I take over that seat in 2021. And I learned that one of the major challenges that she has faced is about working under the Museveni regime. Even if you have the best manifesto, even if my sisters here have the best manifesto, or my moms here, you cannot implement. You wait. You wait. Even if you have your own, you have the best message, and you're going to implement. You have your good policies that you want to implement and to deliver to the people of Kampala district. There is no way you can implement it alone. You need other people. First, you need fellow members of parliament. You need fellow leaders. You need a regime that is interested in ensuring that your manifesto is implemented or your policy, your alternatives are implemented. So that is another thing. That is why I'm running for this position as a woman member of parliament to work in Kyagulanyi's government in 2021, because I know that by 2021, Museveni is not going to be the president of the Republic of Uganda. It will be Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in State House. That is why the difference with me is that I am not coming to parliament in 2021 to fight. Wait, I'm not coming to parliament in 2021 to fight. I'm coming to deliver service, because I believe that the regime will have changed and Kyagulanyi will be president. That is the first point. Then secondly, I'm also participating in this election to be part of changing mindsets and provide a new kind of leadership that puts our people first. Yeah, a leadership that is going to do away with transactional system of governance, mfunirawa, yeah, and replace it with a system based, or a leadership that is based on values. I want to be part of that leadership that allows peaceful transition of power at all levels. I want to be part of that leadership that is inclusive, that has integrity, and that is reliable. And I want to be part of that leadership that respects and upholds the Constitution, respect for the rule of law and democracy, plus respecting people's rights. So that is basically why I'm participating in this election. And I'm telling you that that is the kind of leadership that Kyagulanyi is going to offer in 2021 when he becomes president. And another thing, I'm not coming to parliament just to offer myself just to participate in elective politics. For us, we believe this is a revolution. I'm very, okay, they have a right to their opinion. But for us, we are in a revolution. This Kyagulanyi generation is looking at a revolution, because Ugandans have already sent opposition members of parliament so many times, and they don't seem to see the results. So all Ugandans are focused at changing the top leadership. And that is where their focus is. It is actually a disappointment when they listen to us and we are just fighting for these petty positions. So we should put our country first. We should put all Ugandans first. We should look at the top position first. And then our other interests can come afterwards. And I'm coming to expound service that I'm already giving. As you know, or if I may tell you, I have already been providing free legal services in my law firm and Kampala advocates to people power supporters, to oppressed Ugandans. Recently, we just won the Charenga extra concert case, which was which had the impact of bringing Bobi back on stage. And we believe that when this whole COVID thing is over, he will be back and to perform on stage. The Bajo case that was brought against him for offensive communication, we successfully won. So what we are looking at, I'm coming to expand the service, to add a political voice to the legal voice. Because as a lawyer, I have had exposure, I have had experiences, and I have known, and I know that sometimes the law is not enough to help.
So talk to us about the policy alternatives you talked about earlier.
Yes.
What are you bringing to Parliament?
Yes. First and foremost, the most important thing in Parliament is, if you're to deliver, to give results to the people of Kampala, you must first know how is Kampala run, what are the laws governing it, who are the stakeholders in Kampala, which categories of people work in Kampala, who are those people that reside there. If you want to help them, where are you supposed to go, which other leaders are in Kampala, because you're not going to work alone. Then you have to also analyze these different groups, like my comrade talked about it. For example, I'm going to give an example of the hawkers and the street vendors. Yeah, I have appeared